Hey, it's Carl. So today we're checking out some of the best tech for that $50 price range for 2024. It's crazy that January is already kind of past us. And to kind of start off with, it's kind of based around a lot of accessories for the S24 Ultra, obviously Samsung's new phone. So obviously the first thing, if you haven't checked this out already, it has a brand new display in terms of, I guess, the finish. So before, all S23, S22, all the premium flagship models from Samsung had curved displays. Finally, they now have a flat display. And finally, with that, you can get some pretty decent screen protectors on the cheap too. So this first one that I have installed is from Pitaka. They come with a bunch of different accessories for this model as well. So you can kind of see the process where I installed the screen protector. Super simple, just kind of wipe down your phone, dab up any pieces of dust, and then you can just install the screen protector. It's nice and flush. It has a little cutout for the front-facing camera, and now my screen is kind of fully protected and I won't worry about kind of scratching it, especially on this brand new device, which is now made completely out of titanium. On to accessory number 2, which is cases to protect it. Obviously, I've gone with something super slim, once again from Pitaka as well. This is their caseless thin case, and it's made of something called aramid fibers, very similar to a carbon fiber weave. Very cool, very obviously strong, and this is their sunset pattern. They also have one moonlight if you'd like a bluer tone, but I think it looks pretty cool, and you can actually see the little weave pattern on the case itself. And what I really like is the ultra thin profile. It kind of snaps on, and because the S24 Ultra doesn't have, say, like MagSafe, like a little magnet like the iPhone 15 Pro, 15 Pro Max, I guess all of the iPhones now lately, this case has that embedded into the case, so now you can have magnetic accessories to kind of boot. You can see on the box, it actually has MagSafe enabled, so technically you could use a MagSafe enabled accessories. But for example, they do have this fancy little ring mount, which obviously on the phone itself, this wouldn't work without the case. Because there's no magnet on the phone, there isn't a secure lock, and eventually this thing will kind of fall off. But you can actually see on the case, that little circular kind of mark on the case back. When you kind of flip this around, this will actually snap into place like so. It's now secure, and if you want a little ring holder for your phone, and this obviously also acts as a little kickstand for your phone when you're watching content, whether that's landscape or vertical, whichever you kind of prefer. And accessory number 2 for the MagSafe, they also have this sweet little car mount. I've been using this a ton in my own car when I say navigate to the studio. When I'm driving around, it's just my handy little GPS. It operates with a little ball and head socket joint, and it goes into the fan, and you can kind of tighten that with this little lever here, this little scroll wheel on the side. And because it is MagSafe, the phone just easily snaps to it, and this phone is not going anywhere. And then I can kind of navigate. You shouldn't be texting while you're driving, but just kind of glancing at your maps, or say when you're at a red light, you can quickly use your device. Super dope, and I love that Pitaka has this MagSafe now enabled across all of their devices. You don't need something like an iPhone to utilize it, but obviously you can use, say, like this for your iPhone, because that actual phone has MagSafe, if that makes sense. So next little pack, I actually just picked these up from Amazon. I was just on my honeymoon in New Zealand, and since they use a different kind of charger than North American slots, I needed a little adapter. So obviously under 50 bucks, it actually came with 2 for like $30. These are just handy little Vintar adapters. If you're traveling around anywhere in the world this year, just make sure you have your adapters, because all the tech you bring will essentially be useless if you can't charge them. So this has a pretty handy USB-A, Legacy, USB-C, and what I actually like, it has a port up top to kind of fit your kind of plug. I typically use this Nomad 130 watt charger, and what I like to call the Medusa, because it has all 3 cables, and because it's a bit heavier, having it up top just makes it easier, and it doesn't kind of go anywhere, and then you can just kind of plug this into the wall. So nice and handy, under 50 bucks, and you get 2. So I used one and my wife used one, and we were happy chappies with our tech all nice and charged. Another dope little accessory that I picked up, I did a tiny bit of work when I was away, was this HyperX Haste 2 mouse. So under $50, it's great because it doesn't obviously break the bank, but you don't want to just be using your trackpad all the time on your laptop. It's technically a gaming mouse, but I used it for editing. I used it for the occasional game when I was at the airport, and it's just something easy that you can throw into your pack. I love that it's wireless, and it has the option if you want to install or to insert the dongle if you want, or you can pair it via Bluetooth Bluetooth. So you can kind of mix and match. Super, super simple, and once again, super accurate, doesn't break the bank, and it kind of fits the aesthetic. I love like white accessories that I like to travel around with. Just have to be a bit more careful so they don't get scuffed up. Another tech travel accessory that I've kind of used a lot, and it's actually come down in price now that we're entering into a new year. So this is just a Samsung SSD. A couple of years ago, these used to be $150, $200 for 500 gigs. Obviously, as time kind of evolves as we move forward, storage becomes cheaper. So 500 gig models you can pick up now for around that $50 mark. If you go up to a terabyte, 2 terabytes, those are still $100, $150, and I'm sure in 4 or 5 years, those will be $50 down the range. But just having these handy for $50 just to back up footage, just to store stuff. And once again, they're nice and small that you can fit into your backpack or wherever you travel. For $50, these have definitely come down a lot in price. And for me, these are no-brainers as well. Switching on to a piece of tech that needs no introduction. If you've watched any of my $50 tech episodes over the years, this still cannot be beat. So this is a Keychron wireless keyboard. I believe this is the K2 model. For $50, you cannot find a full mechanical wireless keyboard like on the market. Keychron makes some of the cheapest. It's got really nice tactile keys. You can kind of hear the clickiness. I actually have brown switches on mine. And just like everything it seems online, when you look at some of the accessories that we're looking at, they don't really have as much value as a full keyboard does. For example, like a case, which is close to $50, you can get a fully functional keyboard that actually does something for around the same price. And if you didn't know, I am a huge fan of Orange. They have this little orange escape key, which I'm a fan of. So this thing is kind of a staple, super worth $50, and kind of keeping on the controller, or I guess input theme, another great gift or tech accessory for $50. If you're into gaming, you still can't beat an Xbox controller. I know that I am Team Xbox over PlayStation, so I have been catching up on some gaming since I've come home, and I've just been kind of kicking back, playing a little bit of Halo, to be honest. I've been kind of reliving the entire Halo franchise, as I'm a big fan, and I think that's what initially got me into Team Xbox, or the Xbox kind of ecosystem, or the space. I just love Halo. Master Chief, he's my homeboy, and yeah, Xbox controller. $50, you can't go wrong. Moving on, and I can't just show Android and the S24 Ultra all the love. Going on to my Apple Watch, obviously the Apple Watch itself is not $50, I wish it was, but these little bands from Nomad, underneath that $50 mark. And what I still love about Apple Watches is the versatility of their bands. You can kind of mix and match. I don't really like Apple's stock Apple Watch Ultra band. It's made out of this like Velcro nylon, and although it's technically water resistant or waterproof, when it gets wet, it still takes maybe an hour to 2 to dry. You cannot beat the ease of rubber, and these ones from Nomad, like I said, since they're orange, I am Team Orange, and they kind of fit the bill, and they have this breathability with all the little cutouts, which make it great, and obviously it helps wick sweat away. If you are working out a lot, I would highly recommend rubber bands for your Apple Watch. Moving on to a sweet tech accessory. So this is just a little aperture light. Before my honeymoon, I actually went to CES for my, I think it was like my 10th CES. So like a decade of going to CES, obviously Consumer Electronics Show, tons of tech to look at. Having a little light like this, because you are in a showroom or you're in a convention center, the lighting isn't always the greatest. This little aperture light gives off a ton of light. It's by LED, so you can change the color of either a cool light or keep it warm. Just using the little scroll wheel, you can adjust the color temperature, which I think is pretty dope. And obviously, if you click that, you can change the intensity from like 9% all the way up to 100. You can actually see all of that with the little LED screen on the top. For $50, it's probably the cheapest tech accessory or little gadget in my filming arsenal, and it's kind of lived in my bag. It's been in there for a couple years, and what I really love, it's magnetic, so you can slap this onto something like a metal frame and it'll stick, and you can give yourself light. Next off is this little desk accessory off to the side. So I just updated before I left on my trip my yearly desk setup, and I had a ton of questions around the accessories. So in case you missed that video, these are all from Bololo. So not the pen, but this natural wood pen holder. They also make desk risers, but those are over $50. They have some accessories underneath that $50 mark. Once again, this is more of a premium purchase. Like if you look at this compared to say a keyboard, you're getting something that doesn't really have like tech inside, but you could theoretically hold tech in it. If you're looking to kind of upgrade your desk setup for the year, just having these premium wood accessories just ups the value, I think, of your desk setup. And if you have a better setup, I feel like you're more productive, and they're definitely worth checking out. They're made of this nice oak. They've got that two-tone with the black metal, and I think they're super, super handy and obviously super aesthetic. And last but not least, not really tech, but more on that desk setup theme. We're having little desk setup buddies. So I'm a big fan of Lego for all my setups. I love building Lego. I've got some pretty cool sets that I'm planning to build this year. Just having things around that $50 mark, you can pick some stuff up. I know Lego tends to be very expensive. You can see my Starship Destroyer, my AT-AT kind of over my shoulder, but there are some smaller sets for 50 bucks, like these little guys here. This is actually just a figurine that they were selling to Lego exclusive like members. Obviously, I am a member because I love to pick up my Lego. So if you're interested, check that out. My iPhone is digging off, so that means it is probably the end of this video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. I always try to hook you guys up with one of these, so make sure you're just sub to the channel, leave one comment, and follow me over on social, mostly Instagram or X. Those are my verified accounts, and I can coordinate shipping. Hope you enjoyed the best tech under that $50 range. It's all the tech that you kind of need for 2024. And if there's any others, leave them down below just so people can check them out. And I will catch the rest of you in one of my next vids. Peace.